perfect entry, another bottom tick entry, another perfect bottom tick entry. It was a perfect bottom tick entry, perfect bottom tick entry, another perfect bottom tick entry into profit target. And this one could have been like a 6-hour trade, maybe 8-hour trade all the way up here. I've always found the idea of creating a trading algorithm to be really interesting, but it wasn't until a couple months ago when I became friends with a developer that I had the opportunity to begin working one. In this video, I'm going to be showing you what our DipBot is, how it works, how you can use it, and where you can get access to it. When we began working on DipBot, I didn't realize how difficult creating a trading algorithm actually was. I thought I was going to be able to quickly automate a strategy that's similar to the scalping that I do intraday that has been displayed on the channel over the last couple months, but I quickly realized that I was going to have to be creating something completely new altogether. So what we decided on is that we were going to look for stocks with relative strength and look to enter on a pullback. That was the initial kind of concept that we were working with. And after developing a working prototype, we began to continue to refine it over the span of several months. And without going into too much detail, I'll kind of give you an idea of what DipBot's capable of doing now. So the first problem that we had to address when we began working on this project is which kind of stocks did we want to trade? And since both mine and the other developers' experience trading was on small cap stocks, we decided that we were going to filter for only small cap stocks with a lot of relative volume. And at this point in the development, we understood we were trading small cap stocks with a lot of relative strength, but that doesn't mean you can just buy any single pullback on any single stock, small cap stock with relative strength. So the next step in the development was to create some sort of formula that would measure the strength of an individual impulse that would kind of give us some sort of indication that when it does pull back, that it will offer some sort of bounce that allows us the opportunity to profit. And with that one problem solved, it really only left us with one more issue, and that was, where was the bottom of a pullback going to be? And I can't really go into too much detail about how we solve this, but it does involve a custom tool that we created, and I've actually been using it in my own scalping intraday, and it's improved that as well. So at this point, we were able to narrow down the stocks that we were trading to only small cap stocks with relative strength. We were able to determine the impulses that are likely to pull back and have a continuation, and we're able to accurately pinpoint the bottom of these pullbacks. So all that's really left at this point was to determine our profit target. And because DipBot has such a high win rate, something over 80%, we felt comfortable just running it at a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. But sometime in the near future, we hope to be able to accurately start pinpointing profit targets instead of just running a flat 1-to-1. We've been experimenting with a couple different concepts that have been working really well. We just don't want to implement it yet until we have full faith that it's going to continue working as it has been through our experimentation. The next thing we're going to be talking about is how you can actually take the DipBot alerts. And what I'm showing you right here is the last couple of weeks of DipBot alerts, and each single trade that you're seeing right here was posted on the Discord several minutes before the trade actually occurred. So if you were interested in taking a DipBot trade, all you'd have to do is join the Discord server, which will be the first link in the description. And then in the DipBot alerts channel, it will show you the enter price, the target price, and the stop loss. And all you're going to want to do is put your entry, exit, and stop loss as exactly as it's shown in the Discord, and determine your position sizing. And for position sizing, there are two ways that we recommend doing that. One, you're going to want to set aside the exact same amount of capital for each trade that you take, because if you are constantly adjusting the amount of capital you're putting down, then the results could become a little bit weird and skewed. Or alternatively, the way that we personally recommend is to trade by a set amount of risk on every single trade. And essentially how you would do this is you would take the amount of money you're willing to risk on a certain trade, let's say $50, and you would divide 50 by the difference between your entry and your stop loss. So if there were a 5-cent gap between the entry and the stop loss, then you would just take 50 divided by 0.05, and that would be your share size. Now that we've covered what DipBot is, a little bit into how it works, and how to actually trade the DipBot trades, I just want to briefly show you guys why I haven't been uploading to my YouTube channel through the results. Ever since we started working on DipBot, I noticed how much potential it really had, and it wasn't until, around a month ago that we started to really hone in the results. And I feel like DipBot has the potential to even surpass my own scalping one day. So I'll just walk you through this channel right here. This is our chart recaps channel in the DipBot Discord, and every single alert that is given out by DipBot that is filled is posted in here. And let's just quickly look through them and look at the results. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is BSQR, which was from the day that I'm recording, which is the 6th. And it was a perfect bottom tick entry, and we ended up taking profit pretty quickly. It looked like after it got filled, you were out of that trade in just 2 minutes. And this had the potential to move even around 3 to 4R. So when we're able to start honing in on our profit target, these trades could easily start becoming 4R or 5R on each individual trade. Last week, we ended up taking 6 trades. So the first trade was on HUSA, and we had a really nice, almost bottom tick entry once again on a really, really big flush. And it looks like it hit our profit target pretty quickly, and again, had the potential to hit, 3 or 4R. So this was another win. Then we have MMAT, and yet again, another almost perfect bottom tick entry, the potential to go for, this looks like more actually like a 3 to 4R trade. Then we have WEI, and this was a loss. And this right here, kind of what we attribute it to, is more the impulse, more so than the failed trade. I think that we've done a pretty good job of being able to hit the bottom tick entries, and I feel like when we lose, it's more due to the move up that we were buying the pullback from than our ability to accurately hit the bottom. Because if you look at the stock, right, we had a pretty big pullback right here. It did hit a bottom and had a little bit of a bounce, although it wasn't that significant, and then pulled back another large amount. So even if we were a little bit more precise here and that our entry was actually a bottom tick instead of being just a little bit off, it's still kind of a really tight trade, and it didn't have that continuation that we're looking for. Because in the second stage that I mentioned when we were explaining how DipBot works, we're looking at this impulse right here, and we're trying to find the impulses that are going to pull back and continue higher. And this one did pull back, it just didn't continue higher. So it's not really the fact that we missed the bottom, it was more that we chose a bad impulse. The next trade we have was ASTS, and this one does look a little bit confusing. It looks like we got stopped out, but if you want to pull up 6:30 ASTS, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time, pull up like a 15-second chart, this actually hit our profit target, or rather it hit our entry and our profit target really quickly, and that's why you'll see the wick above our profit target on this candle. It came down, hit our entry, hit our profit target, and then went lower. So that was a good trade. And then we have AMST. This was one where we were a little bit off on the bottom, so this isn't the fault of the impulse, because as you can see, it did have our pullback and continued higher. We just missed the bottom a little bit here. But luckily, our stop loss is also put for specific reasons. So generally, if we don't bottom tick and it comes down to the stop loss, you'll actually see that it bounces off of the stop loss very frequently. Next up is BSQR, and nothing to say about this one. It's just a perfect entry, another bottom tick entry right into our profit target. Looks like it was a 3-minute trade. Next is ATOS, another perfect bottom tick entry, another 5R trade, maybe 4R. I'm kind of just eyeballing it, but it looks like 4 to 5R trade. We have PSFE. This is another one of those instances where we didn't bottom tick the entry, but it perfectly respects our stop loss and goes and hits profit target. We have PIRS, comes down, bottom tick entry, hits profit target. PROG comes down, hits our entry, perfectly respects our stop loss, hits profit target. Loop comes down, perfect bottom tick entry, hits profit target. NNDM, this was a loser, and as you can see, it didn't really bounce. We got like a move down. It did bounce a little bit and then continued lower before it had a bounce. So I kind of would, in this instance, when I'm reviewing this and trying to figure out what went wrong, I'm more likely to blame the impulse than our ability to hit the bottom ticket entry. But in this instance, I think kind of both were at fault because we could have done better. Well, actually, now that I'm looking at it, you can see on this candle right here, we had a bottom tick entry. And then on this candle, it had a high right below our profit target. So it looks like maybe we could have even won on this trade. But it's too close. Even though it was almost a winner, this still is probably a trade that's too dangerous. We like to see larger bounces than that. So it's definitely the fault of both the impulse and our ability to hit the bottom tick. But that will happen, you know. We're not... DipBot isn't infallible. It can still have mistakes. And then the last trade that we have is CLOV, another perfect bottom tick entry into profit target. And this one could have been, you know, like a 6R trade, maybe 8R trade all the way up here. So overall, these are the trades since we've begun keeping track of them in the chart recap so that everyone can easily just go scroll through and see what's happening. If you're interested in joining the Discord, it will be the first link in the description. We have a nice community here as well, and we post scanners. So we have scanners, we have our DipBot alerts right here, and you got our chart recaps and the community. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that is.